Oh my goodness. Are they seeing me? Do you guys see me? Kyle sees? Oh yeah. It's probably about Vivian. Hello everybody. Vivian will just be here for a minute and I just want to enjoy her because really there's no better way to get your company going than to find what you love and hold on to it and just be with it for a second. Because then you're going to have a deeper foundation in yourself, and that will show in your company or in your entrepreneurial business or your side income or whatever else you're here for. So Vivian loves you, and I do too, and I'm honored to be with you. I want to tell you a bit about the entrepreneurial shift and how big it is and how effective it is. It's content that I came up with a few years ago, and then we ended up living in the years since then. And our company, if you had a measurable way to see what we do through views and audiences and following, our company went up 2,500% since doing the entrepreneurial shift. And it went up that much because we did the principles in the entrepreneurial shift. So the entrepreneurial shift is a series of things that I'm talking about because they're things that I could feel needed to happen, but they were true principles that our company lives in. And it is so important that you live in your principles because there are a lot of people out there right now running a lot of businesses that they don't believe, and they don't believe in themselves while they're doing it, or there are things in their businesses that are out of alignment. Like there might be people on the team that they don't feel good with, or there might be things that they're doing energetically that feel heavy. And you can only make as much success for your company as you have on the inside, not only on you, but everyone on the team, everyone involved. And this is really big because I think that the Entrepreneurial Shift is a video series that's about doing things in a much more in your heart way, but also not the way that you hear how to do it at most marketing things. Like you might hear at a marketing thing, market it this way, say this. For instance, at marketing seminars, sometimes they'll tell you things like, you need to make your video 3 minutes. I don't believe any of that. I believe you bring you to what you do. And if you bring actually you, and you don't need something addictively, and you don't need to get something, and you're not in a place of trying to manipulate something, results will just show up in ways that you can't see and are way bigger than the biggest thing you can picture for yourself. So often people get caught that work with me, they go, well, I have to get it out this way, or I should market it this way. And where are you learning that? Where are you learning that you should do that? That's just taught. Your heart is going to tell you what you should do. Your heart and your body have a total strategy encoded in them. Your heart has a full strategy, a full plan, an incredible income, and wants to change the world. And then you hear from someone, do market this way, or say this, or say a trick like a manipulation, like say I only have 10 left even when you don't, and make everyone run to the back. That's scarcity and fear. And you don't need to use scarcity and fear when you're doing the real thing. When you want abundance for other people, whatever you're offering, whatever your creative thing is, and we're going to talk about all those things, figuring out your voice, figuring out what you want to offer, what you're here to do. When you are in your heart, you don't need to use fear. In fact, you'll lose people that need fear to buy things from you and gain people that co-create with you. And the people that move from fear are going to be heavy people in your life. They're going to be people that screw you over in different ways or want to trick you or manipulate you. And often, I've discovered that whoever you work with as a client, as a coworker, as a teammate, or whatever, people that you work with, whether it's your boss, whether it's whatever it is, if they feel energetically heavy, and what I mean by that is you're justifying why you're working with them. Do you get what I mean by that? Like you can feel that your energy is pulled down. You can feel that you're stuck. You can feel that you're in the mud, but you need to justify it. Like you say, well, they are good at this. Okay. That means that you're justifying it because you are cut off from your body when you think of that person. So now that you're cut off from your body, your mind needs to make sense of why you're ignoring your calling, why you're ignoring what's aligning for you. So if you have people in your life or on your team or in your business or in your clients or whatever that make you feel all the time like this, but you use justification to go up, you're actually denying the fact that you're shut off from your intimate, powerful thing. So for instance, many of you here might be coaches or speakers or entrepreneurs as far as helping people with their lives, but you have a client maybe that feels really, really heavy, that feels really like you really don't want to see them. You're like thinking, you hope that they cancel. Even if they don't have to pay you, you hope that they cancel. If you have that, you need to cancel them because you don't know what you're losing by keeping people in your life that feel heavy. You don't know what you're losing. You don't know about your innovation. You don't know what your power is. So if you're working with people or on things, even if it's like going on Facebook, even if you're like, well, I got to go on Facebook because I got to market to these people. Well, guess what? Eckhart Tolle doesn't do that. They have other people that just post stuff, but he's not on there like checking what everyone thinks about him, right? I'm talking about you getting to the Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle level, or whatever your business is, the greatest in that business, the Apple level, the Amazon level. Stop being like another coach that isn't doing the work. Actually become the greatest and follow your body. Because I'll tell you something that I've really felt recently, and it's not a judgment, it's just something I feel, and it's just an honest feedback. I can't tell you how many coaches I see out there who aren't living this. And I noticed that the one difference between the most successful people in the world, the most powerful people in the world, is that they're doing the freaking work. Like Wayne Dyer in 2005, who's one of the greatest authors of all time, in my opinion, in 2005, took his car keys and his house keys and everything else and gave everything he owned to his assistant and said, give everything away. That's living it. He realized it's all heavy. He has all these awards in there. He had all this money, everything. He lived it and then went and lived in a small thing on the beach and found himself even more because he realized he wasn't his old story. He wasn't his old accomplishments, right? Eckhart Tolle has his breakthrough, sat on a bench for 2.5 years in Vancouver and just kind of meditated with nature and then wrote just naturally in an incredible, probably one of the most known transformational books on consciousness there is. Now, I know that not all of you are coaches, so I'm not only speaking to that, but ask yourself where that applies to your business, your thing. So the greatest in the world live it themselves. And one thing I was talking about on the last call is one thing that we do that drives me crazy is we're here and here's our circumstance, here's our business, and we go to these things or we decide I want to get my business to here, but I don't want to get me to here. So if your business goes here or your relationships or your health, but you're still here, it has to fall back down because there's no foundation under it, right? So there's no you in this. So this is a fluke. You still are here, but this is you. So you feel unworthy of this. So you're going to sabotage this because it's scary as hell for this to happen if you're not also here. So my offer to this group, and there was a similar offer I had to the last group, but it was less business-based and less entrepreneurial-based, is to do the work on you. To ask yourself, is what I'm offering the people honest? Is what I want to create the best use of me, right? Is what I want to create the best use of me? God, I at one point got in my heart so deeply and realized I want to combine comedy and transformation and music and writing and videos. I want to do all of it at the same time. And I had Evolving Out Loud happen. Hi, Olivia. I had Evolving Out Loud happen because in your heart, all of them happen at the same time. When you're in your head, you only go this way or this way. When you're in your head, you go, do I market it this way or do I say it this way? That is manipulating. That is manipulating, and in the long run, it will never actually grow. It'll never work in the long run, I promise. You might even have examples in the past of things that happened and grew through manipulation and stayed there, but the time that we're in right now, the consciousness is moving. It's so high, and everyone's bullshit meters are so high that you cannot manipulate. Everyone sees it. An exclamation point makes us delete the thing, right? You get spam when you get an exclamation point, or it says your greatest life now, exclamation point. And immediately that's spam to people, right? So take that in for a minute. Like if everything's BS, you can't move from a way that's manipulation, that's moving from even in a way motivation. The only motivation I want you to have for the next few weeks is to work on you. And on the entrepreneurial shift, there will be exercises to bring to your team, to bring to what you're, talking about, what you're presenting, how to make your business better. But they're coming from my heart, and you have that same heart. So they're coming from the greatest me I have, and you have the exact same thing going on. And when the more you actually live in congruency with the principles that you're offering, the faster everyone will understand it. But many people are people that studied skydiving and are now teaching skydiving, but they're not skydiving themselves. So people see through it. So the only clients you can get are heavy people that can't see the truth of themselves on a level that's really insane because you're being inauthentic. So the only people, if you're inauthentic with yourself, that you can attract are people that can't even see that. And you want people that are going to cause you to grow. You want to grow. You want to move in your body. You want to move in your heart. And you want the world to move around that. So in this series, you're going to ask yourself, what is in my business? First of all, some people might not even have a business yet, but they want to create one. Some people might have a business and realize there's so many things in it that I'm not in congruency with. Or there's people on my team that are not congruent for me. I've had people on my team that mean well and are awesome at what they do, but didn't align for me. I had one guy that was telling me all these strategies on how to sell stuff. And I noticed when I was around many of my teammates, I felt in my heart. And when I was around him, I felt in my head. So when everyone was together, I was half in my head and half in my heart. And he would say to me all kinds of strategies, like, if you have a red carpet here at this point, they'll buy easier. And I couldn't stand it. He would say stuff like, if you say this at this point and make them run to it, and I couldn't do it. In fact, it was very hard to do. So at one point, out of love, I just said, this doesn't align for me. I'm going to let go of you. And I felt myself fall into my heart. And then I did a next event with no strategy, no mental strategy. And all of a sudden, this true me came out. And as a byproduct, everyone wanted to work with me. And I didn't care about that result. I cared about me. And this is about connecting to you. And I want you to consider letting go of all of the things that scream manipulation, all the things that you've been learning, that you're giving, that you're doing, that are talking about manipulating. The real you can sell more. The real you is more effective. You don't need to do things on how can I get views. The real you knows how to make a viral video. You just haven't listened to it maybe. The real you knows how to do everything. The real you knows how to write the truest copy. The real you is going to be vulnerable. It's going to be authentic. It's going to be powerful. And there's so many things that you have in you that you got to bring into your company. There are gifts that you have. There are things that you love to do. So the entrepreneurial shift is going to help you find a lot of things that you love to do and connect with, and probably disqualified from being something that you could use as content or what you're selling or anything else. But what you are is going to do the whole thing. So remember, the entrepreneurial shift is going to give you those tactics. And what's going to happen is I'm here this week. I'll be here every week for three more sessions. So 4 sessions. And you're going to do a different entrepreneurial shift video every day. And you're going to hop onto the Facebook entrepreneurial shift community and talk to each other. And I'm going to also offer you something really crazy that's going to help you expand more. End the idea of competition. Want everyone to have amazing success. If you want someone else to be small, then your judgment of you is based on comparison, and you're staying small to keep them small. When you actually want good for even the hardest people, that doesn't mean go in and give all your time to the hardest people. I'm saying when you want good for everyone you perceive as competition, because what we're here to do, in my opinion, is shift consciousness, is to get the world safer, is to move us into our bodies. This is huge. Want everyone else to do well, because any part of you that wants them to do bad is putting a block on your creativity in that need. Want your parents to do well. Want everything in your life to do well. I am dying for everyone in here to co-create and make an incredible, incredible business for yourself, making the world better. So one thing I've come up with in the last few years, since we made the entrepreneurial shift, is the idea of you moving to a place of a win-win-win. What I mean by that, a win, the first win is it a win for me? And what I mean by that is not just am I making money, but am I giving my highest gift? Am I fulfilled? Because you can make money and be totally depressed, right? So am I giving my gift? Am I expanding and doing it? That's a win. The second thing is my client or the people watching the video or the people buying the book or the people buying my product also growing? Is it something that makes them expand for real? Like in my opinion, Pepsi is not a win. Yes, it's a successful company, but it doesn't mean that their souls are feeling good because you're offering people stuff that gives you cavities and all this other stuff. And the third win is, does it expand the world? Does it expand the world? The true you wants to expand the world. So if Pepsi is throwing plastic in the ocean and causing us to have stuff that's harming the world and causing the consciousness to stay low, it's not a win for the world. So a win-win-win, if you're a win-lose-lose, that's inside of you. You feel 2/3 small, right? So ask yourself, is what you're wanting to do, what you're wanting to give, what you're wanting to offer, or what you will want to offer, if you haven't started it yet, you will, is it a win-win-win? Is everyone winning? Because then you'll be on all cylinders. Because the cylinders are all inside you. So if you're a win-lose-lose, you'll feel 2/3 stuck. And that stifles your creativity, that stifles your innovation, that stifles you. So the next thing is also talking to you about moving from a why instead of a how. This is a basic thing, but believe it or not, beer companies and Pepsi and all those other things move from a why. And almost all meditation, coaching, and workout, everything tells you the how, right? Like P90X says, you're going to do muscle confusion. We'll confuse your muscles, blah, blah, blah. And they show you some why when they show the before and after. That's why it's still successful. But when people talk about meditation, they say, how do I meditate? They don't understand meditation is also going to make you millions of dollars. They don't understand meditation is going to help your relationships. They don't understand it'll change your body. It'll help you release your addictions. It'll stop you from, and all the people that talk about meditation are always saying, I don't know how. That's why it's not sweeping the nation. Because they're looking for how versus understanding that it's the source of all of you. That you meditating is the most important thing we have. So if Pepsi was teaching you how to drink it, it wouldn't sell as well. But it shows you that just flipping the tab, you're going to have women in bikinis all over you. So you're like, oh, that's a why, I'm in. So it says, I'll get laid, I'll get love, I'll get people to like me. That's what it says. I'm not something, this will make me something. So are you in a why? Most people offer coaching and say about other people and their results, but they mostly say how they're going to coach you. And there's no why. You got to be living in a why. You got to be talking from a why. Talking from a why. If you track this whole thing that I've been saying, I'm talking in a why. It's coming through me. I'm learning it as I'm saying it. This is available in every person. I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise. So I want to challenge this group as you learn all of these principles for your business to do the inner work too. I made this video series before I started meditating an hour or 2 hours a day. And that's where my life has totally shifted. And in the meditation, I would get an idea for a video that would go viral and sell out a theater. In the meditation, I would get a calling to let go of something that was heavy. Sometimes in the meditation, I'll be like, get off Facebook for a while. And my ego goes, yeah, but I need to be on there to blah, 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 blah. And then I go off Facebook and go into the woods. I was off the internet for a couple months and all of a sudden came up with this $20 video idea for Limitation Game Interactive. My meditation taught me, stop making it hard for people to get your product. Don't make it expensive. Don't make people to climb all the way. The product is a one-time thing for me, so I don't have to do extra work. I pay the team to do the work, but by making the Limitation Game Interactive $20, and I really believe we made like a multi-$1,000 product for $20. But by making it $20, we've sold thousands and thousands and thousands of them. But what gets me the most excited is thousands and thousands and thousands of people are shifting right now. They're meditating. They're meeting themselves. Get excited about the world shifting their lives because of your product. Get excited about that. Don't think, how do I sell it? The second you think, how do I sell it, you're in your head and you're cut off from innovation. And it might tell you a next step that you think has nothing to do with your business. It might say, go away to another country right now, and you don't know why. Or it might say, get the hell offline. Or it might say, go outside. Or it might say, play with your dog. I don't know what it's going to say. But if you meditate, you're going to feel a thing that feels light, and it'll tell you a next step that you think is not related to your business or your life, but it completely is. It completely is, because you're really here to keep following the highest feeling and letting go of the things that are quicksand. So one of the things I posted this weekend was based on what I said at my flow group. And that was, if we stand in quicksand, you're going to sink, because that's what quicksand does, right? That's what quicksand does. It makes you sink. So how many things are in your life that are like quicksand, and you keep thinking that it's not going to be quicksand? Like saying that one client is so heavy, or I keep doing this thing and it's not working, and I keep going on Facebook and it sucks. How many things do you think are going on in your life? Let me ask you this. How much percentage of your day are you doing something that feels at least slightly heavy or addictive? Everyone write on here real quick. I want to read what percentage a day, before here. So 60% a day, you're doing things that feel like they keep your old story alive, and they feel slightly heavy, and they feel addictive. Awesome. 90%, right? So the simple physics is that what you put out is what you get back. So you're standing in quicksand. Some people are 70, 60, 205%, 80%, 60, 60, right? So that's what you're getting back. You're putting out energy that says, I don't want to rise up. I want to stay in my old story because I'm scared that I won't get love if I leave this old story. So if you're on Facebook all day, or you're talking to people that keep your problem alive versus your possibility alive, how many friends do you have that keep your problem alive but not your possibility? Do you have a lot of friends that you hang out with or talk to throughout the week or text, and all you do is those friends and you talk about your problem and legitimize the problem versus the possibility? Then, of course, you're going to be thinking from a low vibration place. Of course, your content will be coming from a place of fear and manipulation. Of course, you will only be able to attract people that are manipulatable, people that can be manipulated. Of course. And if your answers were over 5% for the people that wrote 50, 60, 70, of course, what do you think life's going to be doing? What do you think your results are going to be financially? What do you think your clients will be? What do you think your life's going to be if almost all of your life you're doing things that suck? You're hanging on to the people that drag you down, right? How could you make money if you're keeping yourself out of availability of what you really are? So that's what this is about. You letting go of the things that are heavy and bringing that, knowing that your business is a byproduct of you, right? And you have all these gifts, and the more you get into your heart and stop carrying the heavy things, the more you're in your heart, the more that your heart sees things that your mind only sees one way or the other. Your heart knows how to do both, right? So your mind will go, do I market it this way or this way? Your heart goes, I got a third idea that's not even one of those ways, but it'll totally be your truth. It's totally you. So these are our principles, and we literally judge everything by, does it feel heavy or light? We do the Kalego exercise every weekday morning, except for last week we had off because we were working on some stuff, and my team is taking turns going to the Hoffman Institute doing the inner work on themselves about the patterns. So right now Carrie's there, then Dan's there, and then Kara's going to be there in a few weeks. Everyone's doing the real work, right? We, every weekday, though, when we're not having the week off, we do every weekday, 7 members of my team, the key 7, do a Kalego call for an hour a day. Sometimes the call is about the business. Sometimes the call is about the next thing we're going to put out. And sometimes the call is working through emotions. Sometimes we'll just say, I feel off today. I feel sad. If you don't know what Kalego is everyone on here, they're also supposed to have done the other stuff too? Okay. So one thing I'd love to offer everyone doing this is to also make sure that you do the, the product that we made that was $20, the Limitation Game Interactive. In my opinion, I think it's the best thing I've ever made because it's the most recent thing, it's the highest me, and it's really something I felt that we made for like, that was a $10,000 product and we really made it $20. And I just am so excited about so many people shifting. So it explains Kailego in there. It also will on the Entrepreneurial Shift, but one of the exercises you'll be doing for your business is the Kailego thing. So this video series will have that. So, yeah, it was a crazy paradigm shift to make it $20 too, because we knew we could sell a ton of them at 1,000, but there was something in my body and in the meditation that said, make it easy. Like, stop making hurdles for people to come to your work. And it's not extra work for me, right? Like, obviously, if I was working with people one-on-one, $20 would be really hard, right? Because there's thousands and thousands and thousands. But making it easy, making it really, really easy for everyone to get the product that wants to, or many people. I know $20 is still a lot for some people, but I know a lot of my following is more mainstream because I also had the comedy career and I speak about the stuff in a different way. And a lot of the people that I'm working with and follow my stuff are kind of more mainstream. So I know self-help to them might be a luxury, or you see the events that other speakers do as $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. So I wanted to be like, here's an opportunity to do as much work as you can for $20. And I did that in my body, and it was felt good, but it felt scary to my ego. My ego goes, oh, it's on kylecease.com and evolvingoutloud.com, Cheryl. But it felt scary to my ego, you guys, because my ego goes, you're going to make your price worth nothing. You're manipulating your value. And my body said, it feels lighter. That's all I know. Like, it was like, don't make your value and sell yourself short. And I'm like, I just felt I'd rather change the world. I'd rather people change the world. And for some people, $20 is still a big leap. So I want as many people to change the world as possible. And I know that if, you know, we're almost at like 10,000 of them. And there's people that are doing the work because I actually ask you to do the meditation and do the stuff. So these products are creating people doing the work. And I'm more giddy about all those people meditating than any other, what it means for us and our success. I'm like, then the world's going to shift. I want it just safer. I want Vivian to have an amazing world. So you guys doing this work makes the world better. So, and that makes it safer. And you can raise the bar of consciousness with your product. Like, imagine if you changed the consciousness with your product. Imagine if you made it safer and people could learn how to forgive themselves more or let go of something with your product. Now, this is stuff that is death to your mind because your mind is going, life is harder than this. The mind loves to go, it can't be that easy. And I'm like, if it's hard, it's not right. It should be easy. This talk is easy. People believe that if I'm not struggling, I'm not creating. People believe if I'm not feeling like hell at the end of the day, then I didn't have a productive day. And I'm like, no, you actually delayed your production because you were against your soul all day. You should be feeling in your body. You should be feeling expansion by what you do. Imagine if you felt expanded because you knew that, like Heather Gregory's on, I see, and she's a health coach. Like, imagine if you were like creating a movement for millions of people to get a video series and become healthy. And maybe not only by letting go of their food addictions, they also find their power and move in a different way and just stop buying things that are feeding shitty corporations that are ruining the world. Like, think of that way. Think of it how it changes the whole world. Start to move from how does it impact the whole world? Instead of thinking, I just want to get people healthy, what if you thought, I want people to see how capable they are of doing things and stop feeding money to the crappy corporations and start feeling connected to the trees and actually change the energy of the world. Get people more connected to themselves and stop feeding corporations that are just pumping addictions at people and making people go crazy. How about trees? Exactly. We cut down the things that give us our oxygen for money. I mean, we're so stupid. Like, think of that. That's like putting on an oxygen mask and diving to the bottom of the ocean, and someone offers you $1 million for your oxygen tank, and you're like, all right, and then you die because you need the oxygen. So I don't know how much money we want to need to have and pile up while we're slowly killing ourselves, we actually need trees. We need the earth. We need the world. You need that. You're breathing from it. You don't have to keep ruining where you live. So this is my hope, is that your entrepreneurial shift is a shift in your consciousness, in your business's consciousness. This is a shift in your consciousness that will move you to a place where things are easier, where you actually learn how to listen to hear versus what you should do based on what you heard at a seminar from someone that might not be fulfilled themselves. I'm telling you, the more I do this work, I'm feeling fulfillment. I feel connected to myself. And when you ask people, by the way, if you go to any seminar and they teach you how to manipulate a sale, then know that they did that to get you there too. Any person that teaches you how to manipulate a sale or create fake looking views or say a lie to get people to buy stuff, they did it to get you there too. They are willing to lie for money. So if you're willing to lie for money, you're saying money is more important than me. And then money won't be able to sustain itself because you're not the truth. And you're going to be exhausted trying to bring money in, because your heart, when you actually align with it, money will come right to it because you're capable of receiving, because you're connected to yourself. You're connected to you. So you're here to connect to you. So if you connect to you, you'll make yourself able to receive. And the people in your life that feel like they don't align, you have love for them, but you don't need them there. And then the products that you're offering, everything else. So I'm going to go to a couple of questions here because I'm speaking like crazy. But I just want to, first of all, welcome you and tell you I'm honored to be with you. And I'm dying for your success. I'm dying for your truth, but I'm dying for your business to show you what you are more. And before I go to the questions, I want to ask you guys if you would be, I asked the last call this too, would everyone on here let me know if you'd be willing to actually do some inner work and doing a meditation every day through the next few weeks? Would you be willing to do your own inner work and actually change you? Hell yeah. This is really big. This is where everything will change, because there's a lot of people that don't meditate, teaching people how to meditate. There's a lot of people that don't actually live it and make themselves first, telling everyone to do it. And I want you guys to actually stand in your power and slowly but surely build a foundation. I want you guys to have a foundation. I want you guys to have a real foundation where fear of what you're offering starts to leave and true you comes through and innovation is just pouring out of you, and you know how to write the right content and say the right thing, and you realize it's not even content. It's just your truth coming out. So if you're willing to do it, what I'd like to do is ask you guys, if you do it, you guys will all be doing it with each other, and the other group, Evolve One-on-One, is doing it, which means that the world is going to be a higher percentage better for my daughter, Vivian, and your kids too, or your friends' kids, or the people in your life. I need you guys to actually access what you are and help me change the world for little Vivian, because she is so cute. Her cuteness is all, that's all we need. So every morning is what I'm recommending. Every morning, when you wake up, sit in a comfortable position. Just sit in a comfortable position. Put your phone on airplane mode, and maybe a half an hour is really where insights show up. If you go to 45 minutes, you'll start to get possibilities. You'll start to have things come through that you had no idea. But you do a half an hour, that's letting go of it. But you get to about 45, 46, 47 minutes. Almost all of my ideas that were viral videos either came from about 45, 46 minutes of either meditating or a Kalego session. So what you do is you close your eyes and just sit back and watch it. By the way, to answer Lynn, she said, why is it so hard? I get restless. Here's my answer, Lynn. You don't get restless. Your old story does. What you are is here in the last call. But notice how right here doesn't care about how much money you have, doesn't care about what other people think of you. This is what you are. This is the deep down part of you. This is so important that you understand this is you. This, it's hell to. Your mind always wants to be somewhere else. Think of how many minutes, I asked this on the last call too, but how many minutes, what percentage a day do you think up until this call you've wanted to be somewhere else, even a little bit? Like even when you meditate, you're like, oh, how many more minutes till I'm done? Even when you meditate, you're like, how many more How many more minutes till I have a breakthrough, right? Why do we want to be somewhere else so bad? Like, why do we need, what happens when you get there? Why do we need to do that? So you aren't that, okay? You are the space that's looking at that, but you have to do the work to see that and align with that. So by actually doing the work, and there's no way around it. You can't, no matter how much of this content you just watch, you can't go to the gym and have them explain to you a treadmill and not get on it. No matter how much you see the content, it's never going to work, right? So you're going to connect and you're going to feel the thoughts come up. And Lynn, what you do is when the thoughts come up going, I feel restless, go, and I love that. I don't know what I'm doing and I love that. Just that process makes the space bigger for that to leave. Just you loving it. So Lynn, say that real quick. If you wouldn't mind, say, I feel restless and I love that. Or whatever you feel now even, and I love that. Even if you feel scared or lost or confused or excited or nervous, whatever you feel. Anyone else can write that too. And Lynn, and so I feel restless and I love that. So what if you actually didn't try to run from restlessness? What if your whole life you've decided that restlessness is something that you have to change or fix or get away from? And what if just by doing that, you kept it there? In other words, what it needs is to be seen. That's a little child you trying to be seen by current you and wants it to know that it's okay that she feels restless. It needs to be okay that you feel restless. So just by loving that you feel restless, you expand yourself to a place that makes that space bigger. And by being bigger, you realize the restlessness was a thought you created in the first place. So if this group truly, and by the way, if that means I'm confused or anything like that, love that, right? I don't get it. I love that. I love that. Who's trying to figure it out? Feel it here, not here. Feel it here, not here. Everyone feel what I'm saying here, because this is where I'm talking from. Feel it here, not here. So awesome. Awesome. Smile with heart eyes. So everything, we're good now. Smile with heart eyes. So, okay. Hey, Kyle, can we launch an EOL podcast directory, EOL book list to make it easy to support, read, listen, and collaborate with each other? That's a cool question. I would actually answer this. That's something that our team will have to talk about, the best way to do that. And so that's something that Sarah and Kara can connect with you on after. So what I would say is, would you write that question to info@kylecease.com and ask that? By the way, I've decided that I want to do, like this came up this morning. This is how spontaneous it gets. I've decided that this morning I want to work in person with entrepreneurs, and I talked to Dan about it. And this morning we decided that in April or May, we're going to do a 3-day, really intimate small group, like between 50 to 100 people, 3-day things with entrepreneurs. And if you're interested in being on that list, and being the first to be in that and work with me, and actually work with me the whole time, I'll be working with you guys. Write info@kylecease.com. But I want to help you get your businesses from here, because it's so crazy how big this wants to create. Yeah, it'll be flow group times 10. Totally. Okay, is that the only? Oh, here's a question. I would like to learn how to have the confidence to charge enough for my product. I get impatient when something doesn't sell fast enough. Okay, so that not only is something that's a great thing to have, but one thing I want to do is just have you look at the response that you have to it. So where'd the question go? I would like to learn how to have the confidence to charge enough for my product. So I think the second question, the second sentence, Connie Green, is more important than the first one. Because the first one is the solution that you're coming up with out of your ego to the second one. The second sentence is, I get impatient when something doesn't sell fast enough. Now, how about if we just be with that before we learn how to have the confidence? Because that might be a sign of something bigger. So I would like to learn how to have the confidence to charge enough for my product. I get impatient when something doesn't sell fast enough. The second sentence moves me into my body more than the first one. So my first thing I want you to do, Connie, is get okay with being impatient. Get okay with that you're impatient. Because by figuring out how to have confidence to sell the product, you might still be impatient. You'll just fix your circumstance, but not your situation. Does that make sense? So you will still be in the circumstance that, yeah, you might fix that a little bit, but you still have a part of you that's impatient. You still have a part of you that's crazy. You still have a part of you that's hyper. So if you feel impatient when something doesn't sell enough, maybe you need to bring a compassion to you, and maybe something way cooler is trying to happen. Maybe the product's trying to change. Maybe you don't need the confidence to charge enough. Maybe you're supposed to be cheaper, or maybe you're supposed to get clearer on what you're offering. I don't know what it is. But when you meditate every day for the next 3 weeks, you are going to feel a love for the part of you that gets impatient. We need to feel compassion for the part of you that gets impatient. So Connie Green, are you on here right now? Could you write yes if you're on here on the side thing? Connie Green, are you here? Okay. This happened on the last call too. The person that asked it wasn't there. So I want to definitely do the work with her on that. Oh, awesome. Hi, Connie. So would you just write that too? Let's look at the part of you that gets impatient, because that impatience is a sign to something. It's trying to take you to a deeper thing. It's trying to help you find something. That impatience comes from something else. That impatience comes from you thinking you should be somewhere else. That impatience comes from you getting love when something sells fast, right? So we don't know what the specifics are, but could you just start off by saying, I get impatient and I love that? I want you to just write that for a second and notice how you feel, because we need to find love for the party that's impatient. So could you actually write that out, Connie? I know it's kind of redundant, but it's so important to actually know that you're doing it. I want you guys to consider, if you're feeling impatient or feeling scared or feeling lost, to become okay with it. So Connie, that sentence is, I love myself when I get impatient. How about I get impatient and I love that? Because now you're creating a condition to love yourself. So I want you to just write, I get impatient sometimes and I love that. I bet it's not only on sales. Okay. So what does that feel like, just typing that out, Connie? And anyone else can write theirs too. You can write what yours is. I get scared of success. It feels okay. Awesome. So are you okay with that it feels okay, or are you impatient about your breakthrough too? Because it's very easy to go, it feels okay, but I'm judging that I don't have a breakthrough and I'm always wanting to be somewhere else. Yeah, impatient. Okay, excellent. So you're judging that too. So you're impatient about that too. So impatience means you want to be somewhere else, which really means you don't like where you are. So what if we create this from a new way now? What if we stop looking at the things that we bring that drag us down, and we go, I'm going to go to a place where I love where I am through meditation, and meditation, more than anything, is going to freaking teach you patience. So what if we fix this impatience by being patient with the impatience for 3 weeks? Are you with me on that, Connie? Does that sound like a new angle that maybe we could try that's different? Cool. And anytime that you feel that feels weird, and I love that. I don't get it, and I love that. I don't know how to start a business, and I love that. How to get a business started, and I love that. Awesome. Awesome. What if you made a video saying that? I want to start a business and I don't know how, and I'm scared. Do you realize that's content? That's vulnerability. Your audience will need that vulnerability. I make videos and talk about the hardest things to talk about. And then you get that I'm not trying to be a guru. I'm trying to figure out my own crap, right? Let's see what else we have on here. What's that? 10 minutes? Okay. Kyle, I have two audiences to serve, but they're vastly different in places in their personal growth. Who I was 5 years ago and who I was yesterday. Well, that's funny, because the video series you're about to do is 3 years old. So I'm totally different than that video series. You'll see it. There's a different me in that video series, but that doesn't mean the content isn't still the highest truth that we still use. Who I was 5 years ago and who I was yesterday. The common theme for the two is that they have a growth mindset. Any ideas how to connect with each audience on their level on social media? So you're trying to connect with the circumstance outside versus what you are. So I don't know if that makes sense, but you're already in your problem where you're trying to cater to outside versus just being in your truth and letting the right audience match you. So the people that try to cater to the audience outside don't don't ever really thrive all the way. In other words, if your number one thought is what do they need, not what do I want to give, what do I want to be, yes, it's good to offer that as far as just having a product and online stuff. But I'll tell you even deeper, thinking, well, they want this and they want this and they want this. You don't know what you want. You're sacrificing what you want to figure out what they want, right? So you'll never quite feel yourself expressing. An apple tree can't be like, what if they want sandwiches? It makes apples. If an apple tree is like, what if they want bologna sandwiches? And you can't make them. But that's what apple trees don't do, but that's what we do, right? We're apple trees going, what if they want sandwiches, right? So we cut off what we are and try to make what we think they want. So there's no foundation in us. There's no truth, right? So I don't know if that helps, Carissa, but my first answer is ask yourself, maybe a whole new paradigm is trying to shift and there's a new you that's trying to come through that doesn't need two different audiences. I mean, really, my audiences go anywhere from a college, I've had elementary schools, I've had nursing homes, I've had senior centers, I've had giant Fortune 500 corporations, I speak at Agape, I've spoken in comedy clubs for 25 years, right? So I speak everywhere. But the thing that my audience has in common is we all have a soul. So you can get everyone when you move from here, right? If you're going, this audience wants this, and this audience wants this, and this audience wants this, yes, your product might be a certain thing to help people get to their soul in different demographics. But when you speak from your soul, you're going to have to realize the same. We're all trying to do the same thing. And it would just kill if the 188 people that are watching right now all created true transformational businesses. That would be a complete shift. So what if your niche was your heart? And what if by trying to find a niche earlier is your mind looking for any excuse to not expand? Because your mind is horrified of expanding, right? And so that's another part too, that your mind is horrified of expanding. So it comes up with things that you think are reasons why you can't. And it looks like it's a positive, but it's not. Like it says, your mind says like, I don't know what my voice is yet. Well, you find your voice by using it, right? This is about your unfolding. And I also want you to know this year might be a little bit of a loss financially sometimes because you're going to go to your heart. And sometimes you can have these things that are non-foundation based that you sell to make a ton of money right off the bat, but they're not from a foundation. So there's going to be a lot of refunds and it won't fulfill you. So when you go into the real thing, some old structures sometimes have to fall. Some old you have to fall. Some old way that you did it have to fall. I had to end my 25 years as a Comedy Central comedian to do this. And I went through 2 years of completely losing my following, getting crap from people, but my heart said, stay in it. I got something for you, stay in it. And as the whole world fell, I was forced into my heart. And my heart was like, I promise you, I got you, stay in it. And all the stuff. And then I got all these things externally that showed me I might be doing it wrong. Like comics that I used to work with were becoming famous. Like Amy Schumer and Daniel Tosh and Nick Swartzen. These were people that had been friends of mine, and now they were becoming household names. And my mind and my ego were falling apart. I'm like, God, I knew I should have stayed in the comedy, but my heart's like, just trust me on this. And now I'm like, oh my God, that became the teaching, that became the freedom, that became the truth. Now I'm so fulfilled. I don't have to answer to anyone. I do what I do. All of our business is run from our own foundation. We don't have to worry about Netflix canceling us. We don't have to wear whatever. We don't have to share the money with a ton of other people. We create it. And then all the money that comes in either is donated or goes back into the company. You want to put your stuff into your company. I'll tell you another thing. This is really good. I'm all happy. So here's another one. This is going to blow your mind. So we had a client one time. There was a woman that had this thing where she realized she loves Ireland. And she wanted to give guided tours of Ireland because that's a passion of hers. In Entrepreneurial Shift, you're going to learn how to find passions. And she just had the effortless concept that came up for us was, what if you gave guided tours of Ireland? Then you could go visit that. You could show, she also loved heritage, like people's history and where their families came from. So she had this idea of taking people to Ireland and showing them where they grew, where their ancestors grew up and stuff like that. It was so cool. Right? So this was the idea. And then she made a video that was very average video. It was just a first time video saying, if you're interested in going to Ireland and getting a tour, write me at this website or whatever. And so she put that out and then literally just went onto Facebook and put like $80 into Facebook and targeted people that had Ireland as a thing that they liked and their interests. So she puts $80 in, which is scary to the ego, but 12 people said they were interested in going at like 3,000 or 4,000 a pop. I think it was 3,000 a pop, right? So I said something that was pretty crazy. So when she put $60 in, 12 people said they were interested in going at 3,000 a pop. So even if half of them go, that's 6 people at 3,000 a pop. That's $18,000. So here's the sentence I want you to get. For every $80 that she doesn't spend, she loses $12,980 or $20. You get what I'm saying? When you invest in your company and you start to do it, you'll start to realize that every $1,000 you don't put in might be costing you $10,000, right? You start to realize that if you're not investing in your creativity and your growth and coming to events like this and living in your gift, you're costing yourself way more money. So people don't understand, like, take the money that comes in, use what you need to eat and live, and then put it back into your company, into your advertising, into your thing, and realize that every dollar you're not spending might mean that it's costing you way more. Now, there's a bunch of rules with that. It's got to be in your integrity. It's got to be in your heart. It's got to be truthful. You cannot be inorganic and do that. If you do, you'll be pushing against the grain and you'll be on a lower channel. And you have different channels available in you. And there is one channel that's available when you let go of all the irregular crap in your life, all the things that don't align in other areas, in the relationships and everything else. You let go of those things, and then you think on a higher level because you start to prove to yourself, I don't even need that thing. And I'm someone who doesn't even need it. And there's a confidence and an in the moment power that shows up. And when it shows up, it will tell you every next step, and the entire business will freaking form itself around your leaps. So if you're sitting there with the weight of the rest of the world going on and it's quicksanding you, you're going to come up with ideas from a quicksand, fear-based place. You have to actually understand what my friend Glenn Morshower said, which is if you pee in one part of the pool, you pee in all the pool. So if you're in a house you don't like being in, if you spend a lot of your time doing something like Facebook or something addictive and you don't like it, if you're doing those things and you don't feel fulfilled, that will actually show up in your business. And you'll be talking from a place of fear and over-ambition, and you will not be able to hit the masses. You'll be a gimmick. You'll be in your fear. So if you actually understand the parts of you that you are not connecting to here as part of your day and goes into everything, at one point when you let go of those things, you'll be in your power. And it will tell you a thing. It'll be like, make that video right now. Or say that thing, and you'll be like, you don't even have to spend money on a ton of expensive marketing or overproduction. God, the videos that I make are me sitting on the couch. You'll realize sometimes that you being realistic and shooting from your cell phone is actually more, people look at those more. They look more for the videos that are grainy and realistic. The number one thing you're selling is your connection to the moment. Your connection to the moment. And when you sell that through other options, through other products, through health, whatever, you will be safe because you don't need the clients. And by not needing them, they will actually love you because you're safe. The number one thing you're selling is your connection to the moment. And if you're in your head all day, you can't do it. You'll be manipulating. And you'll only get people that can be manipulated, and they manipulate back. You need to be in your body. You need to be in your heart. It will take care of everything. And then accidentally, you can really live a fulfilled life. You can live a fulfilled life. What if you just actually lived a fulfilled life and weren't addicted all day and weren't in your head? And what if your career was more fun than your vacation? What if your career became your vacation? What if you brought your career into your vacation? What if this was the most fun thing you could do? What if this was your weekend? We have a weekend because we do jobs that we hate all day and need 2 days to rest because we've been fighting ourselves for 5 days. What if this was your weekend? You think, doing this talk, I'm more excited. I'm free from how I felt at the beginning of this. I was feeling like crap. I almost canceled. And I was like, no, I got to. I know I'll feel my power. And all of a sudden I feel so good, right? So I'm in my power. I'm feeling amazing. And I dare this group to actually do the work and meditate. And I'm going to ask you this too. We can go a teeny bit longer, right? It doesn't like shut off automatically or something. I'm going to ask you this too. We get to go a little longer than on the other call for a second because I want to. I want to ask you guys, what time of day and how long are you going to meditate alongside with the video series? What time of day would you commit to and how long? 5 a.m. 1 hour, 10 a.m. 1 hour, 5 a.m. 1 hour. If you do this for the next 3 weeks, seriously, if you do this for the next 3 weeks, you guys, I'm telling you, you will be changed. We will be talking very differently in 3 weeks. You won't believe what you're capable of in 3 weeks as you continually transcend your heart. Find patience for yourself. And then I'll talk to you in a week too, and we'll connect there. So as another reminder, if you're interested in coming and working with me for 3 days and a really intimate thing just on entrepreneurial business discussions, go to info@kylecease.com. And we'll figure out the specifics. We're just putting it together now. I'm blown away by you guys. If you really do it, I swear to God, you will make this call so much more worth it. The value of this call is based on what you do, right? So online it'll be in person. So we're going to get a small place and work with entrepreneurs and business owners and CEOs and anyone else that wants to create a side income or find their voice. We're going to work with an intimate group. It'll be either April or May. The concept came up this morning, kind of in a meditative state, and I texted Dan about it, and we got so excited. So we don't know yet, Lisa. We're still figuring it out. Anyone that writes us will be the first one on the list to come. So info@kylecease is where it'll be, is where you write, and we'll tell you the specifics of it. So I want to honor you. You're doing the work. The next 3 weeks will pay for themselves over and over and over. I'll tell you a true story that you might have heard at one of the events. I gave the Entrepreneurial Shift video series right after I made it to my publishers at the time. Beyond Words Publishing was the publisher. And I was like, oh, you guys should look at this as a possible thing to release. And they instead decided to actually do it. And the company did every day. That's a husband and wife, and then they have their team. And every day they did one of the videos, and it said, do this exercise. And they went away from each other and wrote down the things that felt heavy or whatever the exercise was, and then came back and then did the decision that they came up with. And they ended up actually letting go of 14 people on their team, but weirdly moving from a place of flow. And those people got to go to places that aligned with them more. It wasn't a bad thing. But their business skyrocketed because the weight of some people wasn't dragging the entire company down. So their business went up because the weight of the consciousness, because you're as good as the consciousness of everyone on the team. And if someone's in their head all the time, the whole company is going to have to drag down to that person. So this video series I gave to my publishers, and then they did it and shifted their business. So there's some things you're going to hear that will totally apply to your business. There's some things that might, and you might think that they might not, but just be open to getting as much as you can with it. And then when you come on to the Facebook page every day you're going to go to the Entrepreneurial Shift Facebook page. I want you to support each other, and I want you to be inspired by anyone who had a breakthrough or is doing something really huge. Because if you think of them as competition, it will shrink you. If you want them successful, it'll grow you. You need to really get to a place where you want everyone else successful, and you want everyone on this thread that's saying all these amazing things to do well. And if you go, well, I don't, then you're stuck, and you'll be stuck. They don't care if you want them to or not. You can't shrink anyone, and no one can shrink you. But your perception that someone can shrink you can shrink you. But no person can actually shrink you, but your perception someone can shrink you can shrink you. So my offer to you guys is to want the best for everyone else on this call, and let's create a massive boom in the next 3 weeks of possibilities, and let's be open to that the possibilities are going to show up in ways that your mind has never seen. So it might feel confused, it might feel lost, but every time you get confused, get excited, because that means something new is about to come through that's death to the old way you did it. And then you're going to move in dimensions. and possibilities and power. So I'm in love with this group. I'm going to be with you next week and the week after and the week after. Thank you for getting me so fired up and supporting me so much. I was really tired and now I feel really good. I had so much fun doing the flow group yesterday and it was just dead today, and you guys re-woke me up. I feel good. I feel powerful. I feel healthy. I feel pumped, and I feel driven to be with you. And I'm honored to be with you. And you're going to do an exercise every day. Sarah and Kara will update you on everything you need to do. I'll see you next week and the week after and the week after that. And let's see if we just change channels, even if it's a little bit. Let's just go and let's see what happens in 3 weeks. And maybe we'll see what happens in 4 and 5 and 6. So who knows? So I love you guys. You're amazing. I'm honored to be with you. Thank you for everything. Thanks for living in your heart. Thank you for supporting us. I promise you, we're doing everything we can to use that support to help as many people as possible in this short time that we get to be here. So love you guys so much, and let's make the world better and help people and do what we love for a living. What a concept, huh? All right, you guys, have an amazing night, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye, Olivia and Sean and Linda and Ariadna and Bert and John and Tammy and Kelly and Linda and David and Dana and Cheryl and Amy Turner and Jen and Stephanie Williams and Sharon Craig and oh, it's going twice as fast. And Danielle and Kurt and Gloria and Katie and Jay Insworth and Sandra and Sean and Steve and Ryan. What's up, brother? And Lisa and Stephanie and Martha. I can't leave. This is why these things go 13 hours, because I never leave, because I just love you guys so much. All right. I love you guys. Bye, Amy Turner. Mwah. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Oh, I'm pushing the wrong button. So, and anticlimactic ending. So I got to get it good again. Goodbye, Jody and Jana and Justin and Stephanie and Lori and Katie and Stephanie and Tammy and Aaron and Jen and Eva and Angela and Steve and Kim and okay. And now I got to end with that same slow ending. It's been an honor, and I love you. Oh, that's the wrong button too. I got to end it again. Okay, bye, Tracy and Julia and Cheryl and Eva. And okay, and I got to end dramatically. Someone said, "Say a joke." Not kidding. I'm doing a joke. And we're all one. And we're all one, feeling the whole heart. I love you guys. Have a good night. Oh my God, how many times? I hit stop and it's like, stop? Yeah, I hit it. That's why I pushed. You sure you want it? Yes. All right, bye guys. Oh my.